Well, greetings again from us at Wood and Stuff Outdoors here in beautiful northern Minnesota, where it is a temperate 16 degrees Fahrenheit on this December 30th. We're going to continue with our topic of winter tree identification. I get asked all the time with the work that we do, how do you tell different trees apart, and especially in the winter. Here in northern Minnesota, we're on the edge of the boreal forest as well as the eastern hardwood forest. So we have kind of a mix of hardwoods and coniferous trees here. We don't have a ton of different species, but it's still an interesting mix nonetheless. And when I get asked, how do you tell this tree from that tree from the other tree? The running joke is always, well, just because of the way it is, which there's actually, some truth to that. Like looking at it from an architectural point of view, that's a lot of times how I can tell one tree from another. So today our topic is the bur oak, and I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see what I'm talking about. So we've got right here the bur oak, Latin name Quercus macrocarpa. I don't really know what that means. I just know that's the Latin name for it. So architecturally, just kind of from a 1,000-foot view here, it's got a fairly rounded shape. This one's kind of on the edge of the woods here, so it's going to be a little bit bigger of a canopy. The branches are extremely stout. Even the numerous fine twigs up there are quite large in diameter because the leaves and the acorns that hang from those small branches kind of weigh a lot. So the twigs are very stout. The branches are stout. The tree itself is an extremely strong, durable tree that'll live up to 400 years on a good site. And a good site meaning rich soils, adequate water. Tend to be the better sites tend to be like floodplains. And this tree would follow the floodplains of rivers westward into the prairie, where it's the only tree in Minnesota that'll do that. It's a early colonizer of prairie land. So in the absence of fire, this tree will take over and you'll see forests of bur oak. In the presence of fire, bur oak is rather fire resistant and will persist to some degree. And you'll see remnant oak savannas here and there where there's the occasional bur oak and then prairie. What makes bur oak fire resistant is this rather thick, corky bark. And if the tree is burned in consecutive years as a seedling, it'll persist as a grub, they call it, a small sapling, and it'll just develop roots. And say if there's no fire in the area for 10 or more years, that tree will take off and it'll develop a thick enough bark to withstand the next fire. So bur oak are fire adapted. They're not fire dependent necessarily, but they're fire adapted. They won't reproduce in a closed canopy. You see this one here on the edge. And I've got other ones on the edges of my woods here, but I don't have any forest grown ones. So it needs significant disturbance to reproduce. With no leaves on, I can tell it from the other oaks We have pin oak, which is a very close cousin to the northern red oak, and we also have northern red oak. I can tell it just architecturally from those two pretty easily, and we'll go over red oak another day. But there's no other tree here like it. So once you see it with leaves on in the summertime, you can correlate it pretty easily in the wintertime to the rest of the forest and what other bur oaks look like. How it gets the name is because for firewood, you burn it in the winter when it's really cold. You know, bur oak. No, actually, it's from the acorns. The acorns have a fringed cap on them that have, you know, look like little burrs. So that's how it's called bur oak. The wood is, the lumber is very straight grained, splits easily when it's kind of forest grown and there's not a ton of limbs. Otherwise, it kind of splits like turkey meat, like real stringy stuff. But the wood's very stable, very durable, somewhat rot resistant. It's very good wood. It's the prime tree for wildlife in that the acorns are very nutrient rich. They're not as high in tannins as like a red oak, so they're more easily digestible. And they're a staple food for bears and deer and all kinds of other wildlife. Slow growing, but a really good wildlife tree and a valuable tree for lumber. And if you have the opportunity to plant a bur oak, go for it, because they adapt to almost any site. Sandy ground, heavy soils. They'll tolerate water on their roots a little bit, but not sedimentation. So a little bit of flooding here and there, they're perfectly fine with that too. So anyway, that's the bur oak. Thanks, and have a great day.